Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is a series where I go over mental health issues and mental health in general, mental health awareness, mental illness, and I take that and I explain it to people who aren't really emotionally articulate or don't really know that much about mental health. Today we're going to be doing another episode of DBT Sundays, which is a series where I like to take my experience with DBT and I explain away aspects of it to people who probably have not heard of DBT. So what is DBT in the first place? Well, DBT is dialectical behavioral therapy. It is a type of therapy where you focus on four main things, and one of them is interpersonal connectiveness or effectiveness. It is a skill where you are able to convey what you feel, convey why you feel it, and being able to do things like describe, express, and assert yourself. And so we're going to be going over something called DEARMAN. And DEARMAN is an acronym, and it stands for describe, express, assert, reinforce, mindful, confidence, appear confidence, and negotiate. And it is an aspect of DBT's aspect, interpersonal connectedness or effectiveness. We need to be able to show different parts of ourselves and being vulnerable to a certain extent, but also asserting yourself. So we're going to be going through each of the letters of the acronym DEARMAN, and we're going to be analyzing it. So the first one, describe. Personally, when I experience using DEARMAN, or the skill DEARMAN, describing is probably one of the hardest parts. It's harder than expressing and asserting, and especially negotiating, okay? And when it comes to describing, you need to use feelings. You need to, as much as culture nowadays like to turn towards facts, statistics, facts don't care about your feelings. Feelings are still important. Feelings are still something that can guide you to have a very good day, a very bad day, productive day, unproductive day. It covers all those things. And so being able to describe what you're feeling and being able to describe a certain situation is very important. The second one, express. Express also falls into kind of the whole emotional aspect of DBT and DEARMAN. Expressing yourself and your ability to show people what you feel, what happened, how it makes you feel, how you want to feel, and generally just being able to be in tune with your emotions. And I think that's a very important aspect. The third one, A, is assert. Now, I get into a lot of trouble when I assert myself because people say that when you assert yourself, you're being an asshole or you're being bossy or you're being all these things. And I want to tell you that it all depends on how you assert yourself. If you stand there and say, no, I will not talk to you if you continue talking to me in that demeaning tone and yelling at me. As opposed to, you know what, I'm done with this conversation. I don't want to hear what you're telling me. If you're going to tell me like that, I'm going to take a break. I'll come back. We can continue this later. That is a much better option. The first one kind of comes up as a little passive aggressive, but it's not a terrible option. It's straight to the point. It expresses yourself pretty good, and it also lays down groundworks for you to assert yourself, and it helps move the situation forward because you're showing that you don't want to be pushed around. You're asserting yourself. So that is A. And the next, R, reinforce. You reinforce these other aspects. You reinforce how it made you feel, the situation. You describe the situation and you reinforce how that made you feel. You reinforce how you express that, and you reinforce that assertion. Like, maybe don't talk to me like that. And then you reinforce it by saying, I feel so and so when you talk to me like that, so please don't talk to me like that. Just another example. M is mindful. Now, mindfulness is an entire skill of DBT on its own. But essentially what it means is being present in the exact moment, not being depressed about the past or anxious about the future. It's about being present in the moment. So when you think about mindfulness, you need to be able to take into consideration that we're not focusing on the future or the past or whatever. We're focusing on now. What do you want to convey now? What do you want people to know now? And when it comes down to it, mindfulness is a skill in and of itself that many people need to utilize. People get depressed because of the past and anxious because of the future, like I said. But mindfulness allows you to be in the present moment. What happens? How did it make you feel? And so and so and so and so. A, appear confidence is the next letter. Appearing confident is hard. It's very hard because sometimes when you appear confident, you come off as a little bit of an asshole. Same way with assert. Appearing confident is more than just standing up straight, pushing out your chest and your arms to the side like you're some soldier in the military drill. That's not exactly it. Appearing confident is not having your legs shaking, not twiddling with your thumbs. You stand neutral and you appear like you are speaking into a crowd, even if it's just one person. Appear as if you're a priest and you're speaking to your congregation. Imagine that. That is a way that one of my therapists pointed out to me. She's like, okay, imagine you're a speaker, maybe at a church, for example, and you're speaking to the congregation. You don't want to come off as a pushover. You want to convince them, hey, follow me, do this. And in this situation, you're saying, hey, this is what you did, how it made me feel, and this is how we can move forward. And the last one, negotiate. Negotiate is another one of the hardest things to do when it comes to DEARMAN, when it comes to DBT and life in general. You need to be able to find a middle ground. Personally, in my family, there is no middle ground. It's either I do what my parents ask me to do, or I don't have it, or I get kicked out, and it's like that. And I mean, my dad is a very authoritative parent, and so when I try to negotiate with him a middle ground, it never ends up well because it just ends up into a lot of screaming and swearing. But I think negotiation is a skill that people need to learn in their lives, especially when it comes to people in school and in the workforce. You need to be able to negotiate with people like your boss or your co-workers over the direction that you want to take something, like maybe consider a project. And especially when it comes to the world of mental health, you need to be able to negotiate a person when you assert yourself in a situation where you feel like you're being pushed around, for example. You need to be able to negotiate, hey, please don't talk to me like that. We can come to an agreement, like maybe you talk to me better, and I'll try my best to listen and follow what you have to say. You know, you gotta find a middle ground. That's not a really good example, but you gotta find a middle ground. And that is DEARMAN. Today was a lot of talking, a lot of information, but I hope you enjoyed watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I have emergency links if you're in an emergency down below as well. So I hope you enjoy it. Please use DEARMAN in your life. You know, even if it's not just DEARMAN, please try and use mindfulness in your life, because mindfulness is very important. So, I want to thank you for watching this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ahui ho, alama pono.